Hello, friends. Chris Corsi here, president of Thrive Today, and I want to welcome you to the Relational Skills in Real Life podcast. Today's episode is about growing the good stuff and sharing the good stuff with children in your life. That's right. I am super excited about what we're going to talk about today because you know what? Relational skills can change lives, and relational skills can be passed down to children, to grandchildren, to students, to neighbors, to friends, to people all over the world, especially children. No one needs relational skills more than children. And you know what? For years, we haven't had a lot of resources for children. We just didn't have books, we didn't have trainings, we didn't have much. And so, what we're going to look at today is a very exciting resource for families and children to grow the good stuff, to grow some joy, to help one another learn how to live relationally and restore our peace and our joy anytime our joy drops out. I want you to imagine with me for a moment if someone taught you about relational mode and relational glad to be together joy and rest when you were a child. What would have changed in your life if you knew how to get out of enemy mode, get back into relational mode, grow the good stuff, and be the person that God created you to be? What if someone taught you how to recognize the steps to get back to joy? Or what would happen if you practiced exercises with adults to train your brain and nervous system to run on the fuel of joy? Well, friends, I'm really excited about our special guest today, Heather Meades. She's the author of 3 children's books. She's super creative. She's a deeply loving person who is passionate about growing and spreading joy. And you know what? She created some really amazing resources for her grandchildren. And all of us can benefit from what Heather created. Heather is a Thrive graduate. It's been a joy getting to know Heather and watching who God made her to be blossom. She's worked very hard over the years to learn and practice relational skills and to spread relational skills. And you know what? She's going to talk about a brand new resource, the Switched On for Joy book that she created. And I had the pleasure of working with her, but I'm going to let her share that story.
Hi, I'm Heather Meades, and I am the author of Switched On for Joy. And here's a cute little sticker. Um, the proof is ordered, and I am very excited to have it in my hand. But the whole idea of this book came about when I was actually leading a book study with Chris's books, The Joy Switch. And as I was taking a few ladies through this book study, I thought to myself, we need a resource like this for children. We need a resource for families, for parents to be able to bring it down to kid language and use it with their children so their kids can know how to move from a place of big emotions back to joy, when they can recognize when their joy switch is dimming or going off. And I approach Chris about this project, and he's like, I don't write children's books, but see what the Lord brings to your mind. And it was one day we were visiting my daughter in Jacksonville, Florida, and we got up in the morning and we were going to be heading home. So a 9-hour drive. And that morning when I woke up, I had this image of this little girl named Rose from France in my mind. And as we drove that day, I just began writing. And I thought, this is a resource for families. But most of all, it's a resource for my family. I wanted my kids to have a resource for their children. I wanted them to have tools that I didn't have when I was raising them. I wanted them to understand when they were low on joy, there could be something behind it, and there was a invisible switch in their brain that could be turned back on. And I wanted them to understand that there were skills that needed to be taught to their children that they could learn themselves and pass on. And so I just am so excited about this project, this book project, this collaboration between my beautiful illustrator Natalia and the collaboration of Chris being able to write the exercises for parents and children to do together is just, I feel like it's a whole package, and I'm very excited because the illustrations are bright and cheery, and the storyline I feel like is going to be one that kids can remember and that parents can take and apply it to their family life. They'll be able to do it at dinner time or bedtime, and there are valuable resources that are going to help them to connect with their children in ways that maybe they didn't know before. And so I am just delighted that God helped me write this story, because this book writing stuff is all new to me, and I'm just excited that there is now resources for children based on these 19 relational brain skills, based on this invisible switch in our head, based on the life model, the tools that have transformed my life and helped me to be a more relational person. I want families to have resources and tools so that they can pass this on to their children at an early age, and they don't have to wait until they're 50 to learn these things. So I'm just really excited about this resource. I'm excited about being able to collaborate with such amazing people, and I am just so grateful that I've had the opportunity to learn myself, and that I'm still learning, and that when my joy is lacking, that I have a switch that I can recognize now when it's dimming or when it's off, and I have amazing skills and resources now to activate it, to turn it on. And so I am so excited that I also can talk to my grandkids about this, staying curious and appreciative and kind with eye contact. Like, these are gifts that we are giving to families, and I think it's such a fun gift, and I'm very excited that I was able to participate in that. So thank you so much for having me today, and thank you, Chris and Jen, for doing this project with me, and I'm very excited for it to launch.
All right, friends. Isn't that something? I love the joy in her voice, on her face, that Heather is passionate about growing the good stuff and being a resource and a blessing to equip the children in our lives. I really love how Heather has creatively created this resource. She had a heart to see kids grow the good stuff. She had a passion to see ways of being able to spread these concepts to children. And you know what? She invited me into this amazing opportunity to create some very practical exercises that adults could do with children. This is really a big deal, friends, because we can change the next generation by equipping the children and the kids in our lives with relational skills. You know what? I want to highly recommend you get your own copy of the Switched On for Joy book. You can learn more about a little bit of the background with the Joy Switch book that I wrote. We have a webinar with Heather where we talk about some of the history and some of her passion and her heart for these things. So we have a Switched On for Joy resource there in that webinar. We have a Joy Switch webinar. We even have a 28 days of joy challenge that you can do with the links below. But friends, the Switched On for Joy book is one of the best ways to encourage, equip, and empower the kids in your life.